Yo, what's up, Max? Good morning. Good, brother. How about yourself? Got any thoughts for price this morning? I mean, we got this big gap. Started moving up on Sunday, still all-time highs. No signs so far for slowing down. I was thinking that I was taking a short. I was thinking we were gonna come back down to the VWAP or potentially this value area low, but looks like we had a little too much strength. So I don't know. I think eventually we're gonna pull back to at least the VWAP, but I don't know if that's a smart move considering all-time highs, gapped up. What was that? 100 points? More than 100 points. 100 and let's see, what is that? 700, 150, about 180 points. So we might not be revisiting that gap today, but let's see. When was this a problem? Sorry, what are you referring to as a problem? Also, Mondays have not been nice to me. I think the past like 2 or 3 Mondays. So I got to be careful with price action today. Me personally. So the only concern is that we were trading all times high. Oh, yeah. Yep. In fact, more often than not, the all-time high BS tricks us into thinking that we need to pull back, and we don't need to do. Market doesn't need to do shit. It's gonna do what it wants. So I'm gonna size down today. Just having the understanding that Mondays, past I think 2 or 3 Mondays have gotten me pretty good. So come in after the weekend wanting to trade, make a lot of progress at the beginning of the week and snap back and kill me. So I'm gonna make sure I'm trading small. All right, breaking highs. So right now we got these big orders. We swept the highs. We got these big orders up here. What I'm trying to observe is whether or not we're going to reject from these highs, and these big orders are just left trapped here. Next 5-minute candle might give us a little more information. We got 1 minute on that. But if we keep remaining below this low, you know, possibility is we go do that. Retest of these lower prices. Under the point of control now, under the point of control and value area high. Got 20 more seconds, and then we got the new 5-minute candle coming up. Trying to quick scalp down to this VWAP. That was a big delta candle. This current candle dropped about, I don't know, 2,000 points, or is it? Not 2,000 points, sorry, 2,000 and cumulative volume delta. So big initiation on the sellers. And down here, right here, looks like we have, you know, some potential passive buyers, but looking like sellers are in control for the moment. Move my stop up at 25, around 25,840, 30-point stop. It's above the value area high and above this large sell order. We've only got one 5-minute candle behind us, but it's looking a little, like maybe we have some consolidation to happen. Just no follow through on the buy side, no follow through on the sell side, at least so far. Looking like we might be gaining some momentum here. Yeah, no follow through on either side, so maybe just need to wait here. For one of these highs or lows to be taken, because we could just be dancing here in the middle. Just my take so far on the way price action's unfolding is, unless we start making like a serious move, like if we broke down here, broke VWAP and started really dumping, price thus far is looking kind of like it was on Friday, which obviously was pretty damn tricky after CPI. So, kind of a mental note for myself. I need to be careful with trying to read price action and make decisions based on price action. I think it needs to be based on levels and potentially At least for the time being, what it looks like is like range scalp type of mentality versus breakout mentality, which for me means that I need to be looking at the kind of outer boundaries of price action and potentially, look for opportunities to go back to the midpoint early on in the session. So, things could change, but that's kind of the notes that the mental notes I'm taking right now. Yo, what's up, Adam? Good morning. Continuation to all-time highs. Yep. I feel ya. We have a gap underneath us, and obviously it would be great if we could go short, but I'm not counting on that. Yeah, I feel you, Max. I mean, that's something I would be noting in your, like, if you're journaling, you know what I mean? We're at all time highs, and I think I tend to lean the same direction. I mean, I will force myself to long, but naturally, I want to short it. So I don't know. It's something to pay attention to. Why is it? So you can be prepared for it. I think for me also, it's like I want to, if I'm going to go long, I want to make sure that it's at a good area. So at the breakout of all-time highs, I mean, if there's enough momentum and enough like activity, like right now, this delta looks pretty damn strong. So it's like one piece of evidence is going for it, but wouldn't it be a hell of a lot easier to take it from like down in this gap? It would for me. So 951. I feel like nothing is any clearer yet from when we were at the open. We're hovering right in the middle of this range here. It looks like a few meaningful attempts to go to the buy side. And maybe maybe two real attempts to go to the short side. But again, we're just kind of hovering right here in the middle. So I don't see anything just yet. I'm gonna chill. No fair value gaps created either. At least on this 5 minute. Let me go down to the 1 minute and see. I suppose this one counts at 9:31. Just really didn't move us anywhere, but I'll go ahead and highlight it. So the two ideas I have written down here are taking a bounce trade to go long. Taking a bounce trade, maybe it's down here, maybe it's down here, maybe it's down here. We did sweep this high, and so my other idea was we were going to sweep highs and then start moving lower. But nothing's playing out so far. So those are the two things I'm trying to keep in my mind, is that I don't want to take a trade until one of those things happen or begins to happen. And it could be at the, let's say, initial balance range breakout. So that might be the setup for today for me. Wait for this range to break out. So if I had to make a judgment call in the first 25 minutes or so, it's maybe we created the initial balance range low here, and we might be breaking out to the upside. Volume and these large orders seem to be leaning to the long side. Also, looking at the hourly chart. So we did sweep the previous hourly candle high, but then we went and swept it low. And it looks like the low that we took that went down to like 25,800 seems to be a little more significant than that high that we swept. It looks more like we swept the low so that we could start moving higher. That's how I'm interpreting price right now. And this is what the hourly looks like. So see, this low was swept. We dipped into this gap and then rejected from down here, as opposed to sweeping this previous hourly high and then making this sweep right here that then bounce. So long side's looking stronger right now, at least to me. Yeah, you're saying structure looks good, delta looks good, but we're not moving yet. Kind of makes you question whether we're going long. Yeah, looks like it might be picking up. I think just because of the nature of the price action right now, I'm gonna wait, see if it breaks out first before trying to anticipate taking a breakout trade. I don't ever want that song. All right, there we go. We broke out the high of this morning. No shit, Adam. So you're having to switch again? Or is everything gonna remain the same? That's so annoying. Everything's looking bullish right now. We broke that level, retested this high, and we're continuing to move up. I might be willing to take a little one micro breakout here. Looks like we got some supportive buying here. Now the question is, how high can we go? I'm gonna go ahead and measure this value area. Looks like that is about 80 points, 86 points. Sorry, 86 points to the midpoint. My bad. It's about whatever, 43 points on the midpoint. So I'll go 43 points from this high. Let's say target right about here. Not really sure. It looks like we might have lost the steam. Broke above, retested, started moving up, and now we kind of lost the momentum. I'll move my stop. I'm going to move my stop to the open of this previous 5-minute candle. We got this. I'd like to see it defended here in this gap. Unfortunately, just not a lot of conviction. It's cool though. It kind of goes in line with not trying to read price action as much, and just if it broke the level, it retested it, and so I'm trying to base these trades more on levels and what I'm seeing, as opposed to just trying to read price action. So let's see. I'll just wait and be patient for this slow motion breakout. Coming back in that gap, let's see. Looked like we might be reversing from that top area, that value area high. I'm not sure. This gap did not get supported, at least so far. It's looking like it might close under it. So I guess referring back to my initial kind of read on price action, you know, maybe the move is not to take these breakout trades, and maybe it's you know, a rangy type of position, you know, that we want to be looking for. Or maybe just stay flat. All right. Pretty significant difference in delta there between these two red candles, about 4,000. Still not sure if I got a good read on this yet. So we got our initial balance moved up now. If this was a failure up here, I would be tempted to go short, but I'm not sure if it's a failure or a pullback. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. All right. I think I'm down to take a short on this. We moved past the point of control. Price actions look bearish to me now. Hey, what's going on, Taurus Trending? My weekend was good. Pretty chill. Didn't do too much. Just kind of hung out, recharged batteries. What about you? Cool. Were you trading this morning? Yeah, all-time high is pretty tricky. I think what I need to worry about here is that maybe we're not going bearish, and maybe this is just the kind of intermediate low it wanted to hit before going higher. $25,850, I think, will be the area right above here. Copy that. I haven't checked out gold this morning. Let's see. Gold looks pretty good. Yeah, looks like it could be a nice move for the day. Tell you what, this looks eerily like the move that was happening on Friday on NQ, where it looked like it was turning bearish, and then it wouldn't. It would essentially just drop down to an area that looked like a validation point for switching direction, and then it would just pump up. We got our initial balance formed in 2.5 minutes. So that'll be this low and this high. Then we might be able to take a trade on the range break. It might be a better move than what I'm in right here. I've got to be careful with this price action. That's 3 losses for me this morning trying to catch some sort of move. This might be going up to the high here. looking like we still got this all-time high bullish behavior where you can't trust anything that's starting to look bearish, and tried to warn myself about it earlier that you can't read price action with this kind of behavior because price action is not honest. You know, it's more about us being at all-time highs, potentially having short squeezing happening, and you know, buying happen right after kind of breaking a point of invalidation. Us moving beyond this gap here, moving down short, you know, would typically be a nice short setup for my system. But you know, at all-time highs like this, it's not doing me any justice. Yeah, are you talking about this gap down here? So after breaking this level, moving higher, and then we took a 45 point, 50 point pullback. And now we might be going to break these highs now. Yeah, overnight gap. That's what this is here, highlighted. So yeah, basically took a 50 point pullback here, and now at least it looks like it wants to go break these highs, but who knows for, you know, if it's going to be sustained or it's going to do what it has done twice today, which is break that and then do a big pullback. So buying the breakout level is difficult. So on the hourly, it looks nothing but bullish. So I don't know, might need to brainwash myself and not be thinking about shorts whatsoever. If we come back down to that gap, would probably be looking for a buy. Would be potentially looking for a buy down here as well. I'm not sure. Having a tough time reading this. Yo, good morning, Cupid. How you doing, brother? It took like 3 L's this morning trying to do something on this price action and having a tough time reading it so far. Taking small size though. Right now, just trying to see what's going on because obviously all-time high is going to be a little bit, tricky for us. We moved up overnight. Was initially thinking we might make a run down to the gap, the overnight gap, but we haven't been able to do that yet. We just broke the initial balance high, and that's the setup I usually like to take. So I'm going to see if we still have strength, and if we do, I'll probably take it. Potential squeeze. But my initial read on price action was it's going to be really difficult to read, and it might be worth considering taking like range scalps to the midpoint. So because the initial balance breakout setup showed up, I'm going to take it. But if it doesn't work out, probably switch my tune a little bit. Stop trying to take breakout trades or continuation trades, and essentially try and take contrarian scalp, like contrarian scalps or range scalps. Oh, you haven't traded yet? Okay, copy that. Why are you not doing too good then? $25,900 would be a good first target. You got into some legal trouble because of your dumb decisions? Ah, damn, dude. What kind of legal trouble? Or you don't have to, whatever, spill all the beans on here. Just I've had my fair share of that, unfortunately. A lot of stuff could have been avoided on my part. When I was younger, I would get traffic tickets and then not show up to court, stupid stuff like that. And man, I'll tell you what, it's not worth it to do that kind of shit, because then you'll get arrested. But yeah, man, sorry to hear that. Legal stuff is the worst. It can really, really kind of mess you up. So I learned after messing around, basically fucking around and finding out that it's just not worth it to mess with the law. You know what I'm gonna do with this trade? I'm not gonna give it much room. I'm gonna go break even on it, because I see if it comes the way I see it, if it comes down and breaks this area, I don't want to be in this trade anymore. Really, what I wanted to take this trade was like a squeeze. I wanted to see it squeeze after breaking this level, but unfortunately, what's been happening is like it'll break a high and then it'll come back in, break a high and then come back in. So hopefully that's not going to happen. And if it does happen, I'll just get out, break even. Damn, dude. Sorry about that. That sucks. Yeah, I've actually never had a DWI or DUI. I've had a lot of friends that had them, and it really messes them up. This is looking like it might be pushing down, stop me out, break even. But yeah, that's a huge bummer. It's worth it just to take an Uber, dude. But hindsight's 20/20, so I'm sure you're learning your lesson the hard way, but it's definitely worth noting. mandatory jail time of 3 to 6 days with some classes and stuff. But yeah, I learned the hard way. Not gonna mess around again. Fuck, man, that sucks. You still have to do jail time, or did you already do it? Oh, this is annoying. Copy that, man. Legal trouble. It's like it's a monkey that's on your back that like you can't control the timeline of, unfortunately. When you start getting into the court system and all that bullshit, it's like you got to work on their timeline, and whatever the punishment may be could be dragged on, but hopefully you have a swift resolution, dude, so you can just get that off your mind, because the last thing you need is just like extra bullshit, hanging out, stressing you out even more. I'm not loving that this didn't kind of start moving up immediately. I might just close this. I'll basically just move my break even to 25,878. Yo, what's up, man, dog? Good morning. Happy Monday. It looks like we got some resistance here. I was hoping for a quick breakout with a squeeze up, and it didn't really happen immediately. Not enough evidence to say one way or the other whether we're continuing up or reversing from here, it looks like. But I don't know. Definitely wasn't what I was looking for when I took this trade. I was looking for this to squeeze up pretty immediately. I was looking at like 25,900 as a potential first target. But kind of just moseying around right here. I would have been a little bit more hesitant to take it, or probably would have considered not taking it for sure, but this is the initial balance range, and I essentially take that setup every time it shows up. I mean, everything else looks bullish, right? So the longer time frame, higher time frame looks bullish. Really not showing anything that's supporting a bearish bias. especially considering that we wicked down here, popped immediately back up, wicked down here, popped immediately back up. So everything's still looking bear or bullish. We do have the overnight gap, you know, that would be a nice short target. But as it stands right now, we're just kind of continuing to grind up. These kind of trades are difficult. You know, when we're trending like this, it's difficult because we can very easily have a pullback that turns into a reversal. Looks like my stop got taken out. Looks like we're starting to potentially... We're just having like some selling pressure happening right now. Who knows what this is going to lead to, but we are retesting that value area high, and which also happens to be the same thing as the initial balance high. Looks like it could just be a healthy pullback. So seeing this kind of weakness in this price action is what has kind of got me in trouble with some of these, trying to take this short. You know, taking it short and then it pops back up. It's going to continue to grind. I think this is going to be a tough day to trade for me. So this would be the next like pullback area it could potentially go to. And at this point, it's so far, you know, deep into this range, it's like, it's tough to tell. You know, like right here, we invert this gap, start moving lower, and it looks like, okay, we could be going for VWAP, it could be going for this value area low, it could be going for this overnight gap. But immediately it just kind of flips on a dime. And I could anticipate that happening down here too. These pullbacks are, you know, deep, and it doesn't bode well if you're trying to read price action, looking for confirmation to potentially go short on. It's looking short, but you know, maybe the only short you could take is just to scalp it down to here to this gap. I think I'm going to try just a quick scalp for like 15 points. Because I'm having a hard time finding any other opportunities, and this looks like it might be a quick opportunity for a scalp. I'll close it and then reassess, but I'm really not seeing very many opportunities for my setups. This one looks like a high probability that it plays out, but not that it continues. So on days like today, especially when I'm kind of calling it out as price action is unfolding, sometimes it's helpful to categorize your setups into like various market conditions that are effective for the setups. You know, like we're obviously trending up, but we're also doing these deep pullbacks. So you want to figure out how you can, you know, use your setups to you either change the setups you're using that are more effective in the current market conditions, or you adjust. And here, you know, with this kind of price action, it's like these pullbacks are happening, and they're happening frequently, and they're deep pullbacks. But if you hold it for too long, you'll have it reverse on you and either break even, or you'll get stopped out at a loss. So in this scenario, if I'm trying to trade this pullback, I want to make sure I close it early so that I can actually put money in my pocket and not just let it run back on me. So I was considering taking profit right here. I do think it's coming down to this gap, so I'll start scaling out of it. And then, you know, obviously we can, once scaled out, we can start looking for a potential long. I just don't love that we're not seeing kind of follow through strength. Break the highs, do big pullback, break the highs, do a big pullback. I don't love that kind of price action. Yeah, Cupid, that's a bummer, man. Legal system will essentially suck you dry of money. And the partying thing will too. I like, you know, I don't criticize anybody for partying, but you got to be responsible with it. And especially if partying starts impacting your normal life, then you got to start reconsidering your priorities. This 5-minute candle we're currently on is, you know, basically I'm still getting price action that's not like ideal. Like I was hoping that this, after this second red candle, this candle was immediately going to fall to these areas. We didn't. We pushed back up, and might anticipate that it pushes back up before falling on a bigger move, but on a move just this size, it was a little bit of a surprise. Dude, 100%. And at the very least, you got to make a pact with yourself that you're not going to drive intoxicated. That's just a recipe for disaster. Especially when an Uber is like 20 bucks. It's a lot cheaper than 3,000. All right, we got our first target. Second target here should be hit in just a second. But I might just close both out. Because this is kind of the area you might anticipate us bouncing from. Let's see. I'll trail my stop aggressively. Which is the top here. So bouncing off this area would be par for the course, what we've been doing all this morning. All right. We got stopped out there, no big deal. Now, what I'm trying to decide is this going to be the move that potentially, you know, stops the trend here and goes down to this value area low for a deeper pullback potentially, or, you know, deeper even more to the overnight gap? Or is this going to follow suit and do what it's been doing all morning and pretty much, you know, all Friday, which is just come down here, look as though we're going to go past the point of invalidation and then immediately just bounce back up? It's tough because, you know, all of this looks like, I mean, this looks like strength. This looks like strength, but after it pulls back like that, it doesn't. And so it's a tough read because we're not having a ton of momentum. We're having direction, but we're not having a ton of momentum. And that's what makes it tough to read. But on the hourly, everything looks like it's going according to plan. You know? So, in any case, we just got to take it one step at a time, one trade at a time. And if today isn't, you know, the day, and we just kind of have a bunch of difficult price action, we don't have to trade it. Honestly, it'd be great to have a trade I could just put in and let it run and leave, not watch it. So another rule for when we're trending like this, especially if you have a hard time taking trend trades, it's just to only allow yourself to take trades in the direction of the trend, like until we, let's say, break down below VWAP, and you keep trying longs until it's proven to be ineffective. So right now, if you look at what's happened all this morning, if you would have taken a long, let's say at this like value area low, you could still be holding it, or you could take a scalp and it would work. After this first pullback here, you take it essentially at this like point of control / trend line. That would have worked. And then you take it here. That would have worked at the very least for a scalp. So long trades on this sort of trend line or in gaps or at key levels have not failed yet. So you could have a rule to where if it's trending up like this, you keep taking longs until it fails. Which that would have required me to go long here. So it's something I got in the back of my mind that if we come back down, it could be a potential long down here or down here or down here until we break below VWAP. All right, we got a bit of a divergence on cumulative volume delta right here. You can see we got a high created here, and we did not take out that high on volume, but we did take out the high on price, which could be an indication of weakness. Might be a little preemptive to make that judgment call, but it is here in the cumulative volume delta, so I am noting it. This drive right here that we're currently on is also lower than the previous one, so we could see some potential weakness entering the market right now. If we stay below this value area high right here, I might be interested in a short, small size, probably 2 micros. High will go probably above 25,900 and be looking to hold that. I'm going to see how this candle closes. All right, gonna give it a shot. We also did just sweep the previous hourly high, which I like. Now, again, this is against the trend trade based on this cumulative volume delta. So let's see, I'd like to put this in and just kind of hold it. You know, the kind of potential target areas I would be looking at. This value area low, this VWAP, or sorry, this point of control, this VWAP and this value area low are kind of next. And then down here in this gap. No solid evidence just yet. This looks like a potential rejection here with these large orders at the top. Basically all-time highs right here. But we won't know yet for just a minute. It just looks like we hit those orders and then rejected. But we got to see if we got some follow through. Would like to see some sellers come in. Price is sticking around up here so far. No huge rejection yet, but I am still worried about a squeeze that could happen, basically up to my price. So again, the reason for this trade is we got ascending highs and we got descending or equal highs on delta, which could be a sign that we got exhaustion up here. So let's see, it's tough to, when you're at all-time highs, it's tough to call the high. And I don't know if I want to commit to this being the high. But it might be a temporary high. And when I say temporary, it might just be that this goes down for a scalp and I put a break even in and then let it ride. So it'd be great if we could see some early signs of this being a little different. Probably won't know that until we hit down here, but it would be great to see if this is going to be different from any of these other pullbacks. And what we might be looking for, as it relates to this being different, is some pushes back up earlier. So here it was kind of like it dumped pretty quickly. When I say dump, it's really just a quick pullback, but it started moving down quickly. Here, what we might anticipate is the price will move up and basically stall out up here, move down, then move up again, stall out. So we get accumulation that's happening on the top side, where absorption is happening when buy orders are coming through. So instead of this kind of moving down like this, we might anticipate that it pulls back, pushes back up, pulls back, pushes back up, and we have descending highs all the way down, which would be different from this because this kind of happened pretty quickly. And what we're looking for is that, okay, well, if this is going to move down, you might have larger institutions that are accumulating short positions. So I'm going to let this play out. I'm going to try and hold it and see what's up. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to go check on Lacey, see what we're going to do for lunch. But I'll be right back. Okay. Not looking fantastic, but let's let the trade play out. None of my trade size or none of my trades have size today. And you got 4 micros on right here, but not trading big or anything. So that when price action is like this and you have a lower win rate, you got to be able to survive. Looking like a squeeze might be possible here, which would get me out of this position, but I'm going to leave my stop where it's at. It's above 25,900. And if we pop that level, we might have another, strong run to the upside. Lots of buying. Unfortunately, getting stopped out of there, and it might be just one of those days for me, at least, where it's going to be difficult for me to win. I kind of naturally have the wrong bias and not able to take any of these long. It's kind of what I'm noticing. I'm having a hard time taking longs right now. looking like we're retesting here. We might be sending it. So I'll probably have to retire this idea. Maybe just retire for the day here shortly, just because I'm not winning. My ideas are not winning today. And it's tough when you're kind of looking at price action this way. You can see it as like, okay, well, this could be an ascending triangle type situation, or it's just continuing to trend up. And unfortunately, continuing to trend up is looking like it is what it's proving to do. And when it's trending up like this, it's difficult for me to get on board. You could get one of these pullbacks. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's looking kind of like it's coiling up to like springboard off this level. looks like we might have shifted just a little bit here. We got these relative equal highs here, and order flow is looking bearish now. We don't have any big follow-up sell orders yet, but it's looking like we're going to, at the very least, pull back here. Went ahead and added there. Might just be a scalp. All right, guys, I think I'm going to close it up. You know, I'm not reading price. I'd rather keep my losses small today and try again tomorrow. I'd rather keep my losses small today and then just be able to recover from it pretty easily tomorrow with just basically one trade instead of trying all day today and kind of doing some damage. So I'm not really reading shit correctly today. You know, it looks like we're just grinding up, and this price action is tough to hop on board unless you're in early. So I'm anticipating this is going to be a little bit tricky if I continue to trade it. So I'm gonna close it up early. I hope you guys stay safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, hopefully with some better price action, for me at least. But anyway, peace out, guys.